What's up, nerds? Goz Master here with another Magic the Gathering puzzle quest. Today's quest, a timeless voyage. Ooh, today we're going to be spotlighting how to be able to prepare for the nodes and my favorite deck for playing against Timeless Voyage. And, you know, bottom line is I'm going to show you a couple of decks that I'm playing with right now that I really enjoy, both on a Pauper build as well as a big build. So no gameplay today, just a couple of deck spotlights, things that I think you might enjoy. That said, are you getting in that post-holiday lull? All of the standard, all of the bonus prizes and all the extra goodies at a discount are no longer available. Makes me sad. Holiday's over. Oh, bad. Well, the good news is we've got a new set coming out in the next few weeks in Paper Magic, and that means we're only about 8 weeks or so away, hopefully, fingers crossed, for getting new cards in the meta right now. Over the course of the next few weeks, I'm going to be spotlighting some deck builds. I'm going to be going back and featuring some Planeswalkers that I haven't played with in a while, just for fun, to show different builds that are available. So if you picked up some Planeswalkers, do me a favor, during the Planeswalker sale, comment below, let me know what Planeswalkers you got, and I will show you several different Pauper and OP builds over the course of the next few weeks as I go along with it. As always, it is dark outside because it's the first chance I've had to get out of the house, and this is my favorite recording studio in a couple of weeks. So here we go. This weekend's Coalition event is a Timeless Voyage, and the data here is it's a standard event, as you can see. Walk within time itself in a voyage through the astral boundaries of reality. Call your coalition and join this PvP battle against the other Time Wanderers. But beware, with this unstable time rift, special rules. Each node features an event support that will assist the player in the battle, while their opponent will be assisted by the opposite event support. Both nodes also feature a time rift, time walk, astral shift, and time shift. So the time walk one is when you make your first match during your turn, gain an extra swap. When you activate your third loyalty ability, shuffle the last card from your hand into the library, then draw the card and gains full mana. All right, cool. Not cool if you're playing Sarkhan Unbroken, because then that card doesn't, you take a card that you have full power, it throws it away, and then you wind up getting another card. So it could be a creature, it could be a spell when you want a creature. The second astral shift for white. At the beginning of your opponent's turn, the creature gains can't block and hexproof until end of turn. When you activate your third loyalty ability, you may exile each non-token creature you control. If you do, return those creatures to the battlefield with the reinforcements. Then your creatures gain +2/+2. Only cool if you have creatures that enter battlefield's effects and that those make a difference for. And then time rift. Boom. Come on, time rift. I know you can do it. All right. So at the beginning of each opponent's player's turn, reinforce the support. At the end of each player's turn, if this support is reinforced 12 or more times, it loses all its reinforcements. Then all the cards in each player's hand gain full mana, and each player gains 30 loyalty. So the key is when this thing goes off, and in the first node it goes off on your turn, I believe, or it might go off on their turn. I never remember which. And in the second node, it goes off on the opposite of that. So long story short, you get one that goes off, and then you get your hand full, and then you get to play it first. And then the second one, I think it is, your opponent gets all of that. So they get all the benefit that goes along with it. I think because we get extra turns in the first one, they get it first. And then in the second one, when we are suffering because we don't have enough deals, or enough turns or swaps rather, then it goes off for us. So important to note. All right. So that said, I'm going to show you the actual rules of the gameplay for the event. So this is the wiki. You can go just do a Google search for MTGPQ and then a Timeless Voyage, and this will be the first thing that pops up. So it goes over all the rules. It's a standard coalition event. It's progression, so you get points for progressing. Individual placement plus coalition placement. There's 2 nodes, 2 initial charges. You have a max of 6 charges. So if you join it and then don't go play them right away, you have until it gets to 6 charges. Then after that, you want to go knock those nodes down so you don't lose charges. Because if you go beyond 8-hour charge retime, then you wind up losing those extra charges. Something to do there. Permanent support and play, we've already talked about. Card XP gains, 20 per place. If you want to master some cards, this is a great place to do it. We've already read over that. Special rules of permanent support effects play on one or both nodes. One or more nodes. So all 3 of those supports are in play at both nodes. The question is, which do you get first? And the top one is easy to win. I'm not even going to really talk about the top node. It's pretty easy to win because you get double the swaps essentially. I think last time it was 2 extra swaps plus that one. I'm not sure. So I thought you got a total of 3 swaps, 2 more after your first one. But it sounds like this, like you're only getting 2 swaps instead of 3. Okay. Cool for your opponent on the second one as well. That means in the second node now, instead of them getting 3 swaps, they're only getting 2, which is neat. If that's, let me know in the comments below if that's accurate. That's how I remember it, so I'm not sure if that's accurate or not. Top note is time walk. We already went over that and covered that. Okay, so you get the rules, you understand what it is. The objectives, that's what I wanted to cover here. So in the objectives on the top node, pretty easy. Win the fight. Second one is identify, match 18 or more gems of your planeswalker's color during a single fight. So this really matters for planeswalkers that have multiple colors. It's easier to do for mono walkers, not as easy to do. You want to be careful there. Researcher, draw 8 or more cards during a single fight. And then the bottom node, the objective is win the fight. Veteran, cast 3 or more creatures with cost 11 or more, and loyalty, activate a planeswalker's ability 2 or more times during a fight. The top node is easy to win. Use a dual or a tricolor walker, anything you'd like. You get multiple swaps. It's like having extra turns. Have some extra draw effects. Go ham. Beat your opponent. There's no restrictions, so you don't have to have Pauper builds or anything like that. Nothing tricksy on those ones. So you just got to match those gems and draw cards. So get some extra spells that you are extra spells or reinforce or supports that'll allow you to draw more cards. Pretty self-explanatory. Not going to go into that very much. However, the second one, I am going to cover a Pauper build, and then I'll show you an OP build that I'm playing right now that's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if it's competitive worthy, but it's a lot of fun for me. All right, so first and foremost, also right now, as of this recording, I probably won't be here tomorrow, there's 4 training grounds. You have to play those training grounds right away because they're not going to last. So if you want an extra 20 gold for 2 more training grounds, play these training grounds. And in fact, if you can only play 2 right now, play the second training grounds in standard. You get 2 standards, and then the second one in this one. I think that's how it works in Legacy. That way you can get those, and when they go away, you still have the top ones. I think that's how it works. Verify, let me know. We'll see. Maybe I'll run that experiment here just to see how it is and risk losing some gold. I normally just play them right away with my most OP deck so I can win them quickly. All right. So that said, let me show you. Dude, do I have 3? No, I have 2. So I'm going to join here. And in joining, I'm going to say, okay. I thought I already joined. Maybe I played the second one. And in this one, I'm going to show you my deck that I use for a Timeless Voyage on the bottom node. And it's a Pauper build. Let's see. It is Hia is my favorite. It's Teferi, Master of Time. Why do I like Teferi, Master of Time? Number 1, because discard the last card without mana from your hand and then draw 3 cards. Create a Wind of Fate token. Wind of Fate, prowess. Your first creature gets +1/+1, gains flying until end of turn. Anticipation, drain 2 from your first card in your opponent's hand. Not that big a deal, but the first ability is pretty powerful. The second ability is nuts. Disable target creature until the beginning of your next turn. If it's an opponent's creature, create a copy of it on the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, reinforce it. Sick. They got a creature I like. They got something they're doing that's really powerful, and I can target it. Awesome. I'm going to disable that target creature. I'm going to make a copy of it on my side, and then I can go and run rampant on my side of the board. And then the real reason we do this is to go get up to the third ability as quickly as possible, create a Master of Time token, and draw 3 cards. So this basically, when you make your first match during your turn, gain 2 extra swaps. So this helps basically put the swap back and forth in your favor. So instead of just having 1 to their 2, you've got 3 to their 2. So you're basically getting an extra half swap a turn on average, or an extra swap every 2 turns over them per game. And the person who has the most swaps, whoever has the most swaps, wins. And mana bonus is 4/4/3, -1/-1. He's just a beast. He's super powerful. And my Pauper standard build is this. Now it does have Stormwing Entity, so I can replace a regular creature, any creature you have. Typically you are, because of the objectives, you want to have a creature that's over 11 to cast, but everything else is Pauper here, right? Stormwing Entity just works really, really well with this, and that's why it's a quote-unquote Pauper build, but you can swap it out. It doesn't need that card. The first one I have is Frantic Inventory. Frantic, tick, 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 Inventory. 5. If you know what song that is, comment below. I'll give you a digital fist bump. Boom. Spell card. Draw X cards, then give them X mana. X is 1 plus the number of cards named Frantic Inventory in all graveyards, up to 4. So if I have in all graveyards, that's even in our opponent's graveyards too. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. So in my graveyard, I have 4 of these. I can gain up to 4 mana. I draw 4 cards. They each gain 4 mana, and that's important. Why? Because a lot of my cards are going to be cheapy cheap. 2, for Artificer's Epiphany, draw 1 card. Then if you have a support and play, draw an extra card. All of my spells are basically about drawing cards. 4 mana for spell card. Opt, pick one of the first 2 cards from your library, draw that card, then put that others on the bottom of your library. Turn to Pumpkin, 9 mana spell card with flash. Return target creature to its owner's hand, then draw a card, adamant blue, then create a food token if you do it with blue mana. Note, this does not have to have room in their hand for it to execute. Their hand can be full and I can use this and it'll kill their creature. So I try to use this after they have a full hand. I'll even wait and mute it so that I'm casting on their turn right before they attack. That way I'm eliminating a creature that way. Powerful. Very good. Sulundi Vision, 8 mana. It's got land forming. It's a spell card. It's pick one of the first 4 spell cards from your library. Fetch that card. If that card is a blue spell, your wizard creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn. You get a token that gives you 2 converted 2 blue mana per turn. Important for the objective above if you wanted to use this for matching all of the blue gems. I think I'm going to play both with this. At the beginning of your turn, Clearwater Pathway 9. I don't cast the landforming on this. This one I try not to do the landforming. At the beginning of your turn, convert 2 gems to blue. The Murkwater Pathway, where'd you go? There you are. Murkwater Pathway is for black, so it is within color, but I don't want to do that. I want to match my blue colors, and that's the result for it. Staggering Insight, one of my favorite pound-for-pound good cards in the meta right now. 10 mana for an aura that's blue and white. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink. Solid. That's not all. This creature gains enchanted. When this creature deals combat damage to opponent, your opponent's planeswalker draw a card. Wait, what? When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, draw a card. So when I hit my opponent, I get a card. That sounded funny. Umara Wizard, 10 mana, or 12 mana rather, for a 5/4 Merfolk Wizard. Powerful card. Wizardry, this creature gains flying until the end of turn, and it's got land forming. That's why it's so powerful. Create an Umara Skyfalls token. Again, convert 2 to blue at the beginning of your turn. You're getting a trend here. So I got a 5/4 body that goes on the floor, and I give it insight. It allows me to attack and keep my hand draw up high and gain lifelink. And it allows me to convert blue gems onto the board, so I'm starting with a ton of mana conversion in my hand. And then finally, 7 mana for Stern Dismissal. If your opponent has 5 or less cards in hand, return the target creature your opponent controls their owner's hand. If you can't, return an opposing non-token enchantment support to your opponent's hand. Some way of dealing with control that way. Where this deck might struggle a smidge is with dealing with supports. So there's a lot of cards that are out there in blue that you can use to just pick up stuff. I really like Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower is a great mythic. It basically returns any support, something that's on the board, a creature or a support of any kind, including vanguards, to your opponent's hand. If they don't have room, it just destroys them. So that by far is a great removal. Plus it's a flying 5/4 body or something like that. So it's really powerful. Really good card. That might be a good one in case of Stormwing Entity. But when I'm taking all the swaps and I'm doing all the things and I'm cloning all their creatures and I'm basically removing their threats from the board. Oh, that's another thing with Stern Dismissal. I don't have to... oh, it is target. There's one that's not target that's out right now. Actually, I think it is Brazen Borrower. Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. I just said it. Anyways, this deck wins. And the biggest reason it wins is the game plan is to get to your 3rd ability, launch it, get it to go from there, and you wind up making money. So that is my timeless Voyage and Pauper approach to building out to beat that node and going undefeated. I usually go undefeated in that event pretty easily. All right, so decks that I'm playing right now and Planeswalkers that I haven't played in a bit that I'm having a lot of fun with right now, and I'll do some spotlights with. Angrith the Flame Chained. I'm actually got a deck that I've built around him that uses Draina, the Last Blood Chief, Scourge of the Skyclaves, and Peer into the Abyss. Now I know this is a super OP build, but I wanted to show you something outside of that. The game plan is I get Molten Echoes on the board. Oh, so Fire's Invention. So Fire's Invention is the engine that drives this. 13 mana for an enchantment. Whenever you cast the 2nd card on your turn, disable all cards in your hand until the end of turn. At the beginning of your turn, reduce the cost of each card in your hand by X until the end of turn. X is the number of gems in your Planeswalker's colors, okay? So dual color walkers, it doesn't work as well. Tricolor walkers, this crushes, but dual color walkers, it's okay. We want to then get Molten Echoes on the board. For 13 mana, when a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, reinforce it until the end of turn. That creature gains haste until the beginning of your next turn. Powerful. So they hit the board, they get reinforced, and they attack. So what you want to do is you want to cast Peer into the... you want Fires of Invention and Molten Echoes. That's your setup. Hold Peer into the Abyss and Scourge of the Skyclaves in your hand. That's really the 4-card combo. Then Fires makes Peers cheap or free and Scourge free. You cast Peer into the Abyss, you take half their life. Now the trick here is you got to make sure they have room to draw at least one card. If they can't draw the card, it nulls the effect. I can't tell you how many times I've goofed that. So they got to have at least room for one card in their hand. And then what winds up happening, they draw the card, they get the loyalty, they lose half their life, and then Scourge hits the board. 9 mana, kicker 15. You can play for the kicker, but really you don't have to. When this creature enters the battlefield, it gets +X +X. X is the amount of life your opponent has lost this turn. So if you have Peer into the Abyss, don't do its kicker, because you don't need it. You're just losing life for no reason. Because what it does, when you cast this card, each player loses up to 20 life. Loses 20 life. This effect can reduce a player's life total. Cannot reduce it below 1. So you can't die from it, but you take damage unnecessarily and you don't need to. So he hits the board. You have, oh, come on. You have Fires on the board, Molten's out. You cast Peer into the Abyss, do the damage to your opponent. On your opponent, make sure they draw the card. Scourge to the Skyclaves hits the board. They lose half their life. You gain this creature gets twice their life. Then it's reinforced, so you're doing like 10 more, 9 more damage than their life is. 1 turn kill, game over, good game, have fun. Lots of fun. I'm using this Grim Tutor to actually go fetch the extra stuff that I have in my board, or actually use it to go grab the elements and the pieces to put this in place. If I get Gyruda out, I use Grim Tutor to go get fires. I put fires on the board. It allows me to cast my hand. I try to get Grim or feed through my deck as quickly as possible. Get Gyruda on the board, cast Eerie Ultimatum, brings everybody to the board, and we go from there. Drain is fun just because I get to go out and get stuff from their side. So 16 mana, 6/6, creature, vampire, cleric. When this creature attacks, pick one of the first 4 creature cards from your target player's graveyard that is not legendary. Then you return that card to the battlefield under your control. That creature gets +2/+2 and gains the vampire subtype. So I use this to go grab Scourge onto the board, do as much damage, especially if I have a creature with Defender or Vigilance. They get to attack first, then Drain attacks, then they brings a Scourge from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then it gets all of the bonuses because of the damage that was already dealt. So it's a nice little boost from there. This is a lot of fun. It's got a little lifelink in there, a little Eerie to bring stuff back, and a little Ruinous just in case you get behind. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite decks to play with right now. And then one more build I'll show you that I'm playing with right now is with Ashiok Nightmare Muse. Now this is not all the way refined. This is something I'm testing currently, but it uses the power of Zareth, the Trickster, 15 mana, yada, 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 yada. I'm going to show you this one in a future build. I'm still tweaking this one. I don't think it's quite all the way there yet, but it's a lot of fun and I'm enjoying it. So what Planeswalkers do you want me to build around and help you do stuff to build stuff out? As always, my friends, I appreciate you. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to spend this time with me here. I will show you some gameplay of these actual decks at another time. Right now I don't have time for it, but I appreciate you. Take action, implement, go build these decks out. They're a lot of fun, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, swords up, my friends. All the best.